on, guys, and welcome back to my channel. As always, my name is Jenkins Manzi, and I'm here to have a candid conversation with you guys. Today's topic of discussion is Bitcoin. Why is Bitcoin important? What was it created for? And why is it that all the top hedge funds, big tech companies, governments, countries, and individuals, why is it that they're fighting over the possession of Bitcoin? What makes it so unique? And what problem is it trying to solve? To start off on the topic of Bitcoin, I'd like to give you a little bit of historical background so you can understand the reason why Bitcoin was created. In 1970, when Richard Nixon was president, he made a monumental decision to take the United States dollar off of the gold standard. What does this mean? Well, once you take the US dollar off of the gold standard, the United States dollar was no longer backed by something scarce. Richard Nixon took the United States dollar and put it into the hand of the Treasury by distributing what we know today as Treasury notes, or dollar bills. Most of us on the street will call it paper money. Now, what's the issue with this? Well, once you take us off of the gold standard, you now enable your government to be able to print unlimited money. If your treasury is able to print as much money as they want, it creates what we know today as an inflationary economy. An inflationary economy isn't good because it's kind of an invisible tax that's put on the everyday worker, because as inflation grows, so do the prices in everyday goods and services. So one day you might wake up and wonder why your gas price is high. One day you might wake up and wonder why the food cost is so high. Well, the reason for that is because since Richard Nixon took us off the gold standard, he enabled the US Treasury to be able to print as much money as possible, which then devalued the money that we use on a daily basis. And once you devalue the money, prices start to skyrocket. And eventually, the money becomes unusable. Fast forward to today, 2020, after this coronavirus pandemic, the government has printed so much money for stimulus so they can be able to uphold the economy that now we're currently in a situation where the United States government has printed themselves into $28 trillion of debt. And because the national debt has grown and we continue to print money to try to save ourselves from falling deeper and deeper into that debt, it actually has the exact opposite reaction. And so what does this have to do with Bitcoin? Well, in 2008, Satoshi Nakamoto decided to create a technology that we know today as blockchain technology, which has a cryptocurrency on its native blockchain that we know as Bitcoin. Bitcoin is important because it's the first open-sourced, mathematically based, algorithmic money system that we have in the world. What does that mean to the average person? That means that the average person can participate for the first time in a monetary ecosystem. That means that if you have a computer that's powerful enough to mine Bitcoin, then you too can participate as a Bitcoin node provider and work on the Bitcoin blockchain. Bitcoin is unique because there are no central parties. It is permissionless, it is borderless, and it's almost instant when you transact in a Bitcoin. Bitcoin is also internet-based money. So anybody with an internet connection can send it to any other person in the world. So how is that changing things? Well, The money supply that we had before, the fiat currencies that we know as the US dollar, the Japanese yen, they're controlled by central entities that we know as central banks. For example, since the US dollar is the world reserve currency and is controlled by the US Treasury, that means that the US government can use the US dollar as a weapon in a way that they impose sanctions on other countries when they are having problems with those countries by simply cutting off their supply of US dollars into their government system and into their economy. Most countries that we know today rely on the US dollar as a form of stability when their economy is having issues. So if the US government is the only government that has the power to pass sanctions and cut off your supply of US dollars, it can become a very powerful weapon. At the same time, because the US government controls the US dollar, they can never be in debt per se because they can print as much money as they want to free themselves out of debt, which gives the United States government a tremendous advantage over other nation states. With this information in mind, computer nerds, other technicians, engineers came together to work on the Bitcoin blockchain because they believed, and they still believe, that it's the first only open source monetary system which isn't controlled by one singular government entity. This is massive because it frees the world of oppressive governments. It frees the world of oppressive rule of laws. And it opens a whole new economy that is permissionless and available to all who want to participate. Because Bitcoin is coded money, it has huge advantages. You can use Bitcoin for different use cases like smart contracts. You can use Bitcoin to purchase NFTs. You can use Bitcoin for sending remittances back to your home countries, to your families and your friends. When you use Bitcoin, there are no intermediaries that are needed to clear your transactions like banks would usually do when you want to send money to a friend or a family. There is no limit to how much Bitcoin you can send to somebody. There is no limit to where you can send Bitcoin to somebody. And there's no limit on the time that you can send Bitcoin to anyone. Unlike the traditional banking system, you don't have to wait for the market to open before you transact in Bitcoin. And this has been revolutionary, and it's already changing the world. So how would you use Bitcoin today? And what would you want to do with a Bitcoin if you had access to using Bitcoin? Well, the good news is everyone has access to using Bitcoin. You can buy Bitcoin on exchanges. You can buy Bitcoin peer-to-peer. And there are apps such as Cash App that sell Bitcoin directly to their customers. There is no shortages of where you can purchase Bitcoin. Coinbase is one of the most popular platforms to purchase Bitcoin. And you can also use the platform Uphold to purchase Bitcoin. But pretty much anywhere cryptocurrencies are sold, Bitcoin can be bought, as it was the first blockchain. How does Bitcoin work? Bitcoin works on a system called proof of work. Why is proof of work important? Well, because proof of work is open source and is decentralized, that means any nation state, any company, any individual can also be a miner. So there are thousands of Bitcoin miners all over the world. And because there are so many Bitcoin miners, it makes it almost impossible for you to hack a Bitcoin ecosystem. In order for somebody to be able to hack Bitcoin's main blockchain, you would have to use almost every computer resource in the world. You would need millions and billions of dollars, resources that a single person and most nation states can't even afford to use. This is why Bitcoin is so important. It is very scarce, and because of its scarcity, many people in the digital world compare it to gold. In order for you to mine gold, you need very expensive equipment and you need a lot of manpower. Hence why there aren't so many companies and people that own the precious metal gold. It's the same thing when it comes to Bitcoin. So that's the brief overview of what Bitcoin is and how it's mined and why it was even started. With Bitcoin, everyone can participate. No government has the power to sanction anybody from using Bitcoin. No individual has the power to keep anyone from transferring Bitcoin from one location to the next. With Bitcoin, banks are irrelevant because Bitcoin completely eliminates the middleman. With Bitcoin, the world becomes wide open and everyone can interact and transact no matter where you're from or who you are. Bitcoin doesn't discriminate. And the main goal of Bitcoin is to become the digital gold of cryptocurrencies and assets worldwide. As we move into a digital world, we need an internet of value. In order to have that internet of value, we need to make sure that the value that we transfer is 100% secured online. Bitcoin's blockchain and Bitcoin's proof of work mechanism allows the utmost security for anyone transferring Bitcoin from one location to the next. So do yourself a favor. Go on platforms like Coinmarketcap, CoinGecko, and search a little more information about what Bitcoin is and why it was created by Satoshi Nakamoto. It's never too late to invest in Bitcoin. You can use platforms like Coinbase. You can use platforms like Crypto.com. You can use Uphold.com. You can use Binance.us. And there are so many others. When you visit the platform Coinmarketcap, you're able to search all the databases and all the marketplaces that Bitcoin can be sold and bought. Stay ahead of the technology, because this new technology that is Bitcoin today is transforming the world right now. Don't think it's too late to buy Bitcoin because it's $61,000. You can buy as little as $1 from Cash App and other platforms that make it easily available at a click of a button. So I thank you for joining me for this basic overview of what Bitcoin is and why Bitcoin was created. Come back to my later videos and stay connected to my channel as we will dive deeper on where you can buy Bitcoin, how to trade Bitcoin, and other things to do with Bitcoin on the DeFi platforms. I hope this video was informative, and I hope that you can take something with you and share with your friends and family. If you connect to this video and you learned something today, please don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure you share it because sharing is caring. It's better to build wealth as a community and grow knowledge as a group than to do it as an individual. Because if you can change yourself, you can change a whole entire community with just a little bit of information. So thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. God bless.